weeks as well, while we've been off. What has changed for you? Maybe say talk about how fasting in Ramadan and in lockdown as well at the same time, or what else? What other things?
Like school is shut down, so you have to like do your schoolwork from home.
Yeah. Schoolwork from home. That's a big thing for me. Yeah, I'm getting so much work. Yeah, I'm doing my A-levels right now, and it's just so much work. We're getting more work than we would actually do in the lessons. Yeah, that's my experience anyway for what work I'm getting. Yeah, well, what else, Mohsin?
We have to find a way to cope like during this pandemic, obviously. So we have to keep ourselves like we have to make sure that we don't go anywhere that's, let's say, it's got like it's hard. What's that word?
So keeping what?
Keeping healthy, basically.
Yeah, keeping our hygiene, personal. Like when we came in the studio today, can you explain what happened?
We had to wash our hands.
We had to wash our hands.
Yeah, wash our hands.
Before like touching anything.
Yeah.
And we had to spray the mics and everything with some antibacterial.
Yeah. So next week right now is the spray that we used, and we had to spray our mics. Yeah. So it's just how now it's very different. Yeah. People are more what?
Cautious.
Cautious. Yeah. People are more aware of their hygiene, like they should have, we should have been, yeah, but we wasn't so much as careful of our hygiene. But now we're really, really careful of it, yeah. So it brings us on to what is cleanliness? It's
half of your faith.
Half of our faith. Yeah, that's one saying. Yeah. And what else has happened in these? So we've had this coronavirus pandemic, and the lockdown is slowly easing. But another thing, these measures that we're taking, I saw an article, yeah, and it talks about how all these, how, especially with school, yeah, how all these backlogs and coming up can affect next year as well in 2021, yeah, also. So we're going to see the effects of this. How many months have we been actually in lockdown? Maybe around a month or something. Yeah. Maybe less. Yeah. But we're gonna see the effects of this take on next year as well. Yeah. And what was I getting on to? Okay. Things that have been happening in the weeks that we've been off. We've been off for a long time. Yeah, that we haven't been able to come to the show and talk about whatever we talk about at the show. Yeah. But what has happened in those weeks that we were off?
A lot of things have been happening for people. So people have been starting to protest.
Protest?
Yeah, like about Black Lives.
Black Lives Matter, yeah.
Yeah. So as well as Laylatul Qadr, we finished Ramadan as well. Yeah.
End of Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr. So locked. Before we get on to the other things that we're talking about, yes, what Mohsin mentioned there, yeah. Ramadan, having to fast in lockdown and being confined to our homes, how was it different to any of your regular Ramadans?
Like because normally if you had remember the coronavirus pandemic wasn't here, I would be going to school and be like fasting inside of school as well as in other places.
Have you found it easier, Misbah, when fasting at home in lockdown rather than in school? Have you found it easier?
Sort of, like it's you don't have to really go out and do anything because of the coronavirus pandemic, so you're staying in your house, so there's not that much like exercise can be happening in your house or anything like that, so it's not like really making you tired or anything, because in Ramadan you can't like drink.
What about you, Mohsin?
Yeah, it's made it a bit more easier, but for some people they might be a bit more on edge because there's a lot more temptations. For example, there's going to be like food around you while you're in your house, whereas when you're outside you don't really see that much thing.
And another thing is that for me, going to school kind of occupied me away from other things, so it gave me things to do, which made it a little bit easier as well. Yeah. But now doing it at home, yeah, you haven't got a lot of things to occupy you. When you're at school, you're told you got lessons to do, you got deadlines to meet, yeah. But at home, you're not really confined to that setting. And the next thing that Mohsin went on to talk about, what did he say? So the next thing after Ramadan, after lockdown, after fasting, what happened?
Protests.
The protests, yeah. Can you talk about, can anyone one of you mention why are the protests going on?
It started because of the death of George Floyd. He was like killed by an officer. He was a black man killed by an officer for minimal offence. Yeah,
so how has that spiraled into this whole campaign, this whole protest?
It's spiraled into because everybody's, cause as well as they're on edge because of the lockdown, they really feel that like that they're being treated too harshly. Plus, like nobody's listening to them, so they want to speak out and actually make people understand like what they're going through. So, like,
yeah,
you know.
So there've been protests. Yeah, people have been rioting. Yeah, we see in America. Yeah, people are looting and doing all these stuff. Yeah, so the people are. It's very different to how it was straight away before lockdown, and we're now coming into this thing. So many things are being riled up, and also a lot of things when you go on social media now popping up, things that you wouldn't see.
Yeah.
What are things that times that we wouldn't see are now popping up on social media because of people are speaking? What are other things happening in the world? Crisis? Anything else? Do you think of any?
I'm not sure.
What, when we talk about the Middle East, what do you think about?
More.
More what? Crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like what?
Wars.
Wars? Yeah, we think about that. But
people.
Also, one other thing that happened in lockdown was what? Al-Quds Day. Yeah?
Yeah.
Al-Quds Day happened in lockdown. Yeah? People still made their voice heard online, social media, talking about the struggle. And we see more people talking about it. Yeah? We have people, just this morning I just saw posts about things that happen in Yemen. Yeah?
Yeah, so people struggling and people starving everywhere.
Yeah, and so one thing that I've noticed about this lockdown is that people are coming to a point that that they want to really talk about all the injustices. Yeah, and we kind of get things done. Yeah, it's came to that point, and there's one really thing that I read about is talking about I forgot the person's name, yeah, but one of the Ayatollahs from Iran, yeah, talked about how this was like maybe a couple of years back, yeah, talked about how there's in history there's different pockets of people rebelling up, yeah, and they always overthrow
their tyrants.
Yeah, their tyrants, whatever their leaders, yeah. Yeah, whichever injustices they think they might be facing, yeah, and there's always it goes back. So maybe they overthrow some people, yeah, and now those people are in power, and then what slowly it becomes back to
how it used to be.
Yeah, back to how it used to be. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Also, he mentioned talking about there's because religion, yeah, wasn't a big part in any of these some rebellions they were a big part of, but some others they weren't. Most of the recent ones, yeah,
Yeah.
and but how religion, if this was a big holding point for them, yeah, and how that was able to unite people, yeah, and hold them together, and how this cycle of going back to oppressing people, and that's just one thought when thinking about it, about all these things happening. Anything else that happened? Can we think of anything else, or have we covered a lot of stuff? Anything else?
I think we covered it.
Yeah, most of it, yeah. And thinking about it, we all need to go back to what our original principles, yeah, what are Fruedin and Suleidin, yeah. And for this, another thing I have to just talk about is that fasting in Shawwal, 10 days is recommended, yeah, one thing. And also the Battle of Uhud, happened in this month as well, yeah. And talking about Shawwal, Mohsin, what were you going to say?
I forgot actually. What I was going to say.
And another thing happening was the Shahadat of Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam, yeah. So these are these three events I remember from the top of my head, yeah. So wait, before I continue, before we go on to the Suleidin Fruedin, yeah, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, can you mention a few things about him?
He was like he had like a lot of knowledge, and I think he had this school. He opened
he
a school
for carry on.
He opened a school for like people to like learn and gain of his knowledge.
Yeah. So in this fight against Abbasids and the Umayyads, he established a school and taught people and spread the religion, and taught all us other sciences as well, yeah. And his Shahadat was in this month, yeah. So we can see that even when he's trying to do good and trying to help other people, and how these people with this thirst for power came and murdered him, essentially, yeah. So we can link it to this power cycle that we mentioned as well, yeah. But going on to some of the Fruedin that we're going to mention in depth here, yeah, talking about, starting with Khums, yeah. So Misbah, you got the first thing, so we're going to start off with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
One of the markers of success for any religion are the financial resources available to it. A religion that has a lot of funds will easily be able to spread in the world. It can fund television channels, open hospitals and schools in poor countries, and use them as means to attract people to its beliefs. A religion without financial resources cannot grow, nor can it sustain itself for too long. For Islam to survive and to grow in this world of challenges, Muslims must not shy away from donating money. Donating money for the sake of Allah is not money lost, for Allah promises that not only He will reward us in the afterlife for the money we spent for His sake, but He will also repay us in this world and in ways we least expect. If you want to make money, try investing it with Allah, whose money returns are guaranteed. Khums is a critical part of the Islamic Ummah. Many schools, hospitals, orphans and masjids and other crucial institutions in the Muslim world are funded by Khums money. One may have ideas on how to help Muslims around the world, but without money, these ideas will only remain ideas. They will not materialize. It is for this reason that charity taxes like Khums are so important in Islam. Khums is to be paid on the following. Number 1, savings at the end of the year. After deducing the necessary expenditures on maintenance of his or her family, he or she must pay 20% on the remaining money that one has left over. Mining income. Number 2, mining income. If lawful and unlawful wealth gets mixed up. Number 4, anything extracted from the sea, for example pearls. Number 5, war goods. War goods are usually taken by a Muslim army during wartime. Number 6, if land is purchased by a dhimmi is a non-Muslim who lives in a Muslim country and is under protection of the government. With this purchase, the Muslim has to pay a khums, namely 20% of the land's total value. For example, if the total value of the land was £100,000, the Muslim would pay £20,000.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So in Fru'adin, yeah, one of the aspects is what khums. What are the other things that are in Fru'adin? We have
zakat.
Yes, zakat. Yeah.
Jihad.
Jihad. Hajj.
Roza.
Roza.
Namaz.
Namaz. Mohsin.
Khums did you
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. So we have namaz, roza, hajj, zakat,
khums, jihad, amr bil ma'ruf,
nahy anil munkar,
tawalla tabara.
Yeah, so those are the usul, the Fru'adin. Yeah, and Miss Bade talked about what khums, didn't she? Yeah, and what misbah? What did you mention there? What is khums? What is it?
It's like donating money, so like 20% of your money.
Yeah, so it's something. It's a tax of words. Yeah, and how it helps. What does it help?
It helps like ideas to be able to be materialized, and like so like little charities to progress, or like schools to be built in poor countries, or stuff like that.
So this money helps, one, in the spread of Islam, getting Islam out there to the people of the world. Like what? Like we are on what channel? What channel are we on?
Hidayat TV.
Hidayat TV. Yeah. Showing Islam to the world. Yeah. One way. And teaching the children, helping what? What are people in the world that we can help today?
Poor people.
Poor people, orphans. Yeah. So all these places that can help those people can be made using that money. Yeah. So that's one important aspect of Fru'adin. Mohsin, you're going to continue, so can we start Mohsin off with salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Unlike zakat, which is paid in livestock or tangible items like jewelry only, khums can be given. Khums money has to be into 2 equal parts. One half of the total khums is given to the needy from among the sadat. This is called the portion of the sadat, or sahams-e-sadat. Sadat is a pure force sayyid, a person who comes from the family of the Holy Prophet. The other half of the total is given to the dominant Imam. At this moment, it's the 12th Imam. During the ghaib of the salam, this part of the khums is given to the most learned and trustworthy Maharaja. We do taqleed of the most learned Maharaja. With his permission, we use this money to build mosques, schools, hospitals, support orphanages, and many other forms of charity. Many people depend on khums money either for survival or as a source of income for supporting religious institutions, which so many of people depend on for their religious activities. The Maharajas and their network of followers manage the money and spend it where they deem appropriate.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So khums can what else? Where are they given? What did Mohsin mention there?
They're given to Sadat.
Yeah, so some of it is what given to?
Sadat.
Yeah, and what else?
And Sahimium, the other half.
So one portion is given to, so like Misbah said, yeah, Sadat, and the other another portion is given to,
Imam.
yeah, so the Imam time. Yeah, who is the Imam of our time?
The 12th Imam.
The 12th Imam.
He didn't go able, so we give it to Maratha.
Yeah, yeah. So like Moses said, we give it to the person that we do what taqleed for, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those and usually it's not straight away just sent to the person. Yeah, it's kept in one place, and permission is asked from that person whether they can use it on certain aspects. Yeah, helping the madrasa that you go to, building something for that, or buying some books for that, or something like that. Yeah, so this money is used mostly what to, in the majority of sense, is what to educate people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Miss, you got the next thing, so start Miss off the last salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Khums money is sometimes given directly to Maraja or his office. However, Khums money may also be given to a trust masjid so that it may be used for the needs of the community at hand. And under certain circumstances, Khums money can also be used directly by the individual who wants to donate it. For example, he or she may have Khums money in his or her hands and may spend it on building a masjid for the community or helping build an Islamic school.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil fajr. So thank you, Misbah. Yeah, so that is the overview of Khums. Yeah, and how hopefully this is this is something is we should out, but which is none you guys your responsibility. Yeah. It'll mostly be on who looks after us.
Parents.
Your parents. Yeah. So this is one for when people are home, they go and mention it to your parents today, and hopefully they know about it, and hopefully if anything that you didn't understand from there, they can help you as well. Yeah. And what is the next? What's another
Jihad.
Jihad? Yeah, another Fruedin. Yeah, and mostly you're going to be talking about that, so I can start with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah says in the Holy Quran, O Prophet, encourage the believer to go for jihad. If there are 20 patient ones amongst you, you will overcome. What is jihad? Jihad means to struggle for the sake of Allah. Jihad, or struggling for the sake of Allah, can be done in two ways. The minor jihad, al-jihad al-asghar, is the most well-known form of jihad due to its wide coverage in media. Minor jihad involves fighting against an aggressing group or an unjust ruler. In this sense, one may think of the minor jihad as a fighting jihad, like a soccer or most team sports. This kind of warfare can either be defensive or offensive. Defensive is fighting back when your enemy attacks you first, whereas offensive is when you attack your enemy first. Unlike defensive jihad, most Rajas believe that no one is allowed to conduct an offensive jihad unless the Prophet or Imam asked to. You can think of the minor jihad as a political jihad, politics to government matters and wars. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah. So, most in there mention that there are two types of jihad. Yeah? There is what? The minor one and the major one. Yeah. What are the differences between these two?
So one is like fighting, like one is like being offensive and one being defensive. So when somebody attacks you, you're trying to defend yourself back, and then when you
okay, so the minor one, you're talking about the minor one there. The minor one you can split in two aspects. Yeah? A defensive or offensive. Defensive meaning what? That you are defending yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And offensive meaning what? You are attacking. Yeah. And so this is called the minor one. The minor jihad. This is the minor one. Yeah? The major one is what?
Like wars.
Major one is wars. Misra says. What do you think, Mohsin?
Major probably is like a struggle against yourself.
Yeah, so after some of the wars, but the battles with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they came to a peace agreement, yeah, and they were a treaty, yeah, and then he talks about how some of these battles are ended, yeah. So we have done the minor jihad, the Holy Prophet says, yeah, and now it's time to start. Now it's time to do the what? The major jihad, which is what, like Mohsin said, with yourself, yeah, a battle within yourself, yeah. So Misra said war, not war like in the physical war that we
mental war.
Yeah, this war within yourself. Yeah, how can you explain this war within yourself, Misra? How do you understand it?
Like with the beliefs you have in your like head and everything, like it's like sort of like with the beliefs you have in your head to like sort of find out the true meaning and everything using your brain without like having.
Yeah,
to restrain yourself from doing bad deeds and trying to attain taqwa.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah, this battle within yourself, yeah, is with things that you desire, yeah, and things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for you, yeah. These things that you desire, yeah, might have things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want. One doesn't want for you, and two, it's haram for you to do it, or to do this one thing, or to gain money, you have to do this thing which is haram, or to you have this desire to do something but it's haram, so eating or drinking something which you're not allowed to do. Yeah?
Yeah.
So to this jihad within yourself is what? The self-control, combat whatever something inside is saying for you to do, yeah. Or
to overcome like yourself.
Yeah, to overcome yourself and have full self-control. Yeah. This is what Ramadan is about, essentially, isn't it? Yeah, to have self-control and not let this food, yeah, control you.
And break down your ego as well.
Yeah, and to break down your ego. Yeah. So it's just for this self-control is really a big part of this major jihad. Yeah. So this is one thing that we really need to touch on with. So Mr. you got the next thing, so you can start Mr. off the last one. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
An interesting point regarding this fighting jihad drawn out of the Prophet Muhammad's life. A quick glance at it will demonstrate the Prophet never started an offensive jihad. All of his wars were defensive in nature, and the Quran stands as proof of this, since all the verses about wars, such you cannot maintain a level of iman or faith that is acceptable to Allah. In Islam, our good desires are deprived from our fitrah, which refers to our spiritual nature. The fitrah has been given to us since the day Allah created us. Our bad desires come out of our tabiyah, which refers to our animal nature. Our animal nature is the source of our desires, which, if left uncontrolled, will not only ruin the people around us, but also ruin our souls. Whichever side wins depends on which side we feed the most. If we feed our fitrah with the food it wants, like Quran, befriending believers, praying on time, then our fitrah will win, and as a result we will win the major jihad. But if we feed our fitrah more by feeding it with bad deeds like gossiping, using foul language, judging people, etc., then our tabiyah will win and we will lose the major jihad and lose our connection with Allah. Islam does not say that you must not fulfill your desires. Most human desires are lawful. All that Islam wants from you is to be careful insofar as how you fulfill your desires. There are always two ways of fulfilling your desires, lawful and unlawful. For example, food is one of the desires of human beings. Islam does not say that you cannot fulfill this desire, but you have to be careful in how you fulfill your desire for food. Is it mubah? Is it tahir? Is it halal? And fighting about the major jihad, al-jihad al-akbar. Al-jihad al-akbar is a personal jihad that involves a spiritual struggle inside our hearts and minds. It is called the major jihad as it is the most difficult to do. It is difficult because it involves an ongoing struggle against bad desires from the day a person matures to the day he or she dies. These bad desires can refer to many things, including jealousy, backbiting, watching haram things on TV, or even the desire to be lazy and not help people. Additionally, there are other kinds of desires that are not bad in and of themselves, but only become bad because they are not fulfilled properly. For example, meat is permissible to eat, but one must be careful in only eating meat that is halal and not eating meat that is haram. In this sense, the major jihad is a deeply personal and spiritual jihad, and hence why no one's permission is needed. This jihad must be fought in the hearts and minds of every Muslim. This jihad is a struggle between two opposite forces, the heart and mind and bad desires. In this struggle between your heart and mind and your bad desires, it is your heart and mind that must win. If your bad desires win and control your life, then you have lost the personal and spiritual struggle. And as most people love money and want to be rich, Islam does not prohibit the acquisition of money, but it does teach us to be careful when acquiring wealth, i.e. becoming rich. It's therefore your responsibility to ask your right question. Is your job halal? Is your money halal? Grey areas do exist, so make sure to ask someone that can guide you when you're in doubt. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fajr. Thank you, Misbah. So, Misbah there mentioned some important points, saying that there are personal strives that you want to have in life. Yeah, there are accomplishments that you want to achieve in life. Yeah, but there are two ways of doing it. You get to that success either in a permissible way or in a
Haram way.
In a haram, unpermissible way. Yeah. So these things, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to accomplish these things, get to these positions, get to that job, get this car, or get this phone, or just have this have that status, yeah. But there's a way of doing it either halal or either in halal or in a haram way, yeah. And Mostly mentioned taqwa a couple of minutes ago, yeah. What is taqwa?
Taqwa is like you be like pious.
Yeah, having the pious, having this foresight. Yeah, taqwa is the ability to see the halal way to get to this position, or this job or whatever you want. Yeah, but taqwa is to have the foresight to see the halal path to get there. Yeah. And you're able to see in when you look at the haram way, yeah, you see the end consequences of that. Yeah, that's what taqwa is. Yeah. So this jihad is a really big struggle in yourself. Yeah, to make sure that you're going through your life through the halal path, not the haram path. Yeah. So that's just a simplistic way of looking at this major jihad that we've got to do within ourselves. Yeah, Mohsin, you've got the next thing. So can we start Mohsin off with the last salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
وبالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر. The fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, once said, doing Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar is one of the most important obligations because upon it depends the performance of all other obligations. If Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar are done, the earth will become a safe place, enemies will be defeated, and all other matters will be done appropriately. Anarchy is a state of disorder due to the absence of the authority who can enforce rules and punishment. Without authority and enforcement of rules and punishments, humans become free to do whatever they want. Sometimes this may be good, but often enough people abuse this freedom and commit evil acts like murder and theft. In order to keep a society functioning and keep it from falling apart, it is necessary that there be some kind of authority along with some rules that can be enforced. It is also necessary that there could be some kind of punishment in order to deter the people from committing crimes. Part of establishing authority is that there need to be security cameras, police officers, and good citizens that can report or stop crimes from happening. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fajr. So, thank you, Mohsin. So, the next thing that Mohsin was getting into, the next Fru'edin that Mohsin was getting into is Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Yeah, there are two different ways that you can look at this. Yeah, one is in your day-to-day life. Yeah, Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar. The other is probably nothing that will ever really affect us, which is the governance way. Yeah. So like how murder is haram, isn't it? It's a sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
people just do it like it's casual.
No, not that.
Yeah.
Is you see even in every society around the world, murder is bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why there's a punishment for when you commit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you commit these stuff, yeah, these crimes, yeah, you get a punishment for it. That's one thing. Yeah, and so the government explain, oh, these are the bad things. Yeah, and if you do these bad things, these are the punishments that you get. This is the governance way of Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar.
Yeah.
But we're not doing. We don't have this government that we own and control. So we do our personal Amr bil Maruf and Nahy anil Munkar. What is that? What Mohsin, if you saw your friend, he did, I don't know, he you saw him eat something haram. Yeah.
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
I'll tell him that it's haram and that you should eat it because it's bad for you.
So Amr bil Maruf, what does it mean? Enjoining good, and Nahy anil Munkar, forbidding evil. Yeah. So when you see someone doing a good thing, you said, yeah, carry on doing that, encourage them. Yeah. But when you see someone doing a bad thing, yeah, you have a duty
to discourage them.
Yeah, to discourage them. Yeah. And if this thing that they have, and you suddenly come across it, and it's something personal to them, that they don't want anyone to find out that they've ate that. Ate the haram thing, yeah, then you have a duty not to expose them and tell the whole world that they've ate this haram thing, but to what?
To keep their secret.
Keep their secret, take them to the side and explain to them and forbid evil and enjoying good. Yeah? So those are just a few things on the Fru'edin, yeah, which we went in a little bit of detail there. Yeah? So hopefully we'll continue that next week. Just to end off, yeah, just wrap up the whole show. We talked about what?
Amar bil Ma'ruf, Nahi anil
Munkar,
Munkar,
Jihad.
Jihad.
What was the last one?
Main thing. No, one of the first
Khums.
Khums, yeah. Yeah. So these are the fluidines that we talked about in the show. And thinking about all these people are rising up. Yeah, people are protesting and all these things. Just to have a keen eye and look and watch the news, look about these stuffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can talk about some things that are bad. Yeah. Some oppression that goes on. Yeah. Because if one day, hopefully it doesn't happen that
there's no more tyranny and there's no more injustice.
Hopefully one day this doesn't happen, but maybe we're under this persecution or in this trouble. Yeah. We're in this good state now, but what about people over in Palestine, Yemen, and those places around the world which are under extreme crisis and in trouble, If we are not speaking about them, when they're in trouble, what about when we're in trouble? Not only that, is that we're all one body. What is that saying from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Mohsin, do you know it? Misra, do you know it?
No.
That if the Muslim Ummah is all part of one body, if one body hurts, the whole body would feel it, wouldn't it? Yeah? And another thing for people who are doing GCSE or something like that, what's the author called? Any of you know an inspector calls? Any of you heard about that?
I've heard about it, but I never read it.
So when you go maybe in GCSE times when you're going to do your exams, you're going to learn about this story called An Inspector Calls. It's about an inspector. He goes to this house and exposes the crimes of these people. And he mentions talking about community. I think the author, I don't know, he may have got some inspiration from that narration, and he talked about how the human race is one body, that if one part's hurt, the whole body would feel it and want to act and resolve this problem, because it is you, so these are all things that we need to speak up when we see bad things happen, so to make sure that that we keep our world in a good state, just for that. So thank you for joining me on today's show, Mohsin Misbah. Thank you at home for joining me on today's show as well. We'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.